TJ here for another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. I'd like to thank everyone for your support of our small grassroots channel. Slowly but surely we're growing, and we ideally I'd like to see us hit 1,000 by the end of this year. I know that's a pretty high goal there, but that's what I'd like to see happen by the end of this year. So yesterday, in our capital, Washington, D.C., it became a green zone, a militarized zone, a members-only club consisting of a type of Politburo. There were an estimated 25,000 troops in Washington, D.C. for this last transition of administrations. I guess they were there to ensure a peaceful transition of power. They didn't want any Trump supporters pissing on their parade. 25,000 troops. That's more than what's stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan combined. 25,000 troops. Way more than the 2,000 that attended the inauguration ceremony. 25,000 troops to make Washington, D.C. a members-only club, the members being the political elite, and that's both parties. Do people even realize it? I wonder how many people care. Consider the hypocrisy. They weren't going to use the troops in Portland when that place was on fire. They weren't going to use troops to dismantle that goofy Seattle Chaz Chop zone. They certainly weren't going to use the troops in Kenosha, Wisconsin, when that 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 people as he was defending himself against an out-of-control mob. They weren't going to use these troops in St. Louis as private property was routinely trespassed. Exhibit A, the St. Louis couple. And you certainly didn't see them use these troops in Atlanta as that city burned. I could go on and on with that list. Then I read news reports that the D.C. mayor and Nancy Pelosi was wanting the troops to be fully armed with crew-served automatic weapons, meaning that aside from the typical issued M4 carbine each soldier gets issued, fully automatic weapons like the M60 machine gun, the squad automatic weapon, and maybe even the .50 caliber machine gun. Just a side note, I've trained with all of them. They're pretty cool. One might speculate that the Democrats know in their heart full well of the electoral anomalies that have occurred. This is their way of conveying their message of they're in charge now. Prudence demands you assume that these troops would use these crew-served weapons if need be. Washington, D.C. shut down a 25-mile wall constructed around Washington, D.C. And who said walls don't work? Bridges leading into D.C. closed. This is something you might see in some Soviet bloc country. And if all this wasn't bad enough, then I read another news report that Pelosi and them wanted the FBI to screen the military out of fear that a significant number of them may have voted for Trump. Oh my gosh, heaven forbid. All this to make the right look unstable. And by the way, the D.C. Republicans are just as responsible as the Democrats regarding this whole screwed up scenario. They're all swamp rats as far as I'm concerned. And you can throw this into the mix. This whole thing funded through confiscatory taxation, which is a whole nother segment. A fine display of tax dollars at work. And just another example of a banana republic in the making. Just the latest message they've sent us. Message has been received, I say. Prepare yourself for some challenging times. This is TJ signing off with be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.